The lights, the sounds, the cameras, the electricity. If you can feel it, hear it, see it, chances are an IBEW electrician built it. The members of the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers Local 716 built the things that make Rice University and Houston great, and we want you to join us. Excellent training, fantastic benefits in retirement, and zero student loan debt. Build a better career. To find out more, visit IBEW716.net.
The following is a presentation of the Rice Sports Network. From Learfield IMG College. On the Rice Sports Network from Learfield IMG College. Welcome to Rice Owls Insider, powered by the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers Local 716, lighting up Rice University in Houston for over 100 years. Now, here's the voice of the Owls, J.P. Heath.
And welcome back. Rice Owls Insider, presented by IBEW Local 716. Subscribe on your podcast outlet of choice. You can also match up the pictures with the words on the Rice Athletics YouTube channel as well. Hit us up for a subscribe in both places, and you can tweet me your questions for those dignitaries all throughout the department. We have regular chats, of course, during basketball season with head coach Scott Pera, who we'll hear from here in just a little bit, and also Dr. Joe Carlgard, athletic director, makes periodic stops. On today's show, we talked to Coach Pera. We also have Rice men's assistant basketball coach Derek Glasser. He has been knowing Coach Pera for quite some time. So we'll talk about the roots of that relationship that go back quite a while. And you don't have to look at your calendar awkwardly. It's volleyball season. So we'll talk to longtime successful volleyball coach Genny Volpe on the show. Rice basketball against North Texas coming up Thursday and Saturday, ESPN Plus with those broadcasts on the web video side of things. Take note of the new start time for the home game coming up on Thursday, 7 o'clock. Our circadian rhythms have been used to those 2 o'clock start times, which I like. I've been on record saying I really like those times, but we go back to the more traditional start times of 7 o'clock for Thursday. Unfortunately, with the Rice crisis management team and their wise choosing, but we still can't have fans, unfortunately, right now. So no fans just yet, but Rice is playing Saturday at North Texas, and that is going to be a 4 o'clock start time and a 15-minute pregame shows on RiceHouse.com, the TuneIn app, and the Rice Game Day app as well, brought to you by our friends at Houston Methodist. Here's a quick tour around some news around the athletic department. Tina Langley's women's team still remains paused. If you did not hear that news, they also did not play those games last week hosting UAB, so they won't make the trip with their travel partner series against North Texas. But that series was obviously very disappointing. And while that's not so great news right now, but Nancy Mulkey Tuesday was named the Naismith nominated to the Naismith Defensive Player of the Year watch list. Two-time defending Conference USA Defensive Player of the Year, 9th in the nation in block shots, and 3rd among active Division I players in blocks. Some baseball tidbits. Practice begins the week of Friday, the 29th of January, and the team's 2021 season opener is set for February 19th against Little Rock. 30 home games of Rice baseball coming up. Jazz just had a preseason chat with some other members of the media with Coach Braga. He'll be on our podcast airwaves here, I'm sure, coming up soon. Rice soccer on Saturday. The Owl football team returns to action for the first time since November of 2019. Been a while. And Brian Lee's team, who Coach Lee is going to join us on the show coming up here sometime in the next week or so. They host Houston in an exhibition, but fans are still not yet allowed at Holloway Field due to the university COVID protocols. Rice opens its first ever spring soccer season at McNeese on February 4th. They host HBU at Holloway on February 7th. And swimming, quick trivia question. Women's basketball's won 6 straight. The Owl team with the second longest win streak is Rice Swimming. They have won 4 straight meets. Last Saturday, Rice won 10 of 14 swim events in Incarnate Word for its 4th straight dual meet victory. And a reminder that every show is proudly brought to you by our friends at IBEW Local 716, International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 716, lighting up Rice University in Houston for over 100 years. We kick off this edition of Rice House Insider coming up next with Coach Pera here from Learfield IMG College.
With Houston Methodist Virtual Urgent Care, you can skip the drive and the waiting room and connect to our board-certified providers from your computer, tablet, or mobile phone. Virtual urgent care visits are available 24/7, no appointment needed, even on weekends and holidays. Now you can get the same trusted care you expect from Houston Methodist, wherever you are, whenever you need us.
To learn more, visit HoustonMethodist.org. Houston Methodist, leading medicine.
Time out. Smart Financial wants you to know that a good banking experience shouldn't feel like you're getting tackled. Since 1934, we have prided ourselves on providing hassle-free services with a game plan that focuses on people, not profits. If you live, work, or go to school at or around Rice University, visit smartcu.org to join our family and become a part of the winning team. Smart Financial, proud sponsor of Rice Athletics, federally insured by the NCUA.
Welcome back to Rice Owls Insider and the voice of the Owls, J.P. Heath.
Welcome back on Rice Owls Insider. Head boss man Scott Pera coming up here in just a second. Smart Financial's game plan is simple. People before profits, whether it's saving for retirement, finding your favorite car, or buying your dream home, we can help. Text RICE to 276-278 to find out how. All things considered, Coach, how are things? You all right?
Yeah, I'm doing fine. How are you doing?
Cannot complain. Can't complain one bit. Obviously a tough road trip, but as long as I've known you, and this is saying nothing about the other games because every loss hurts, but that was as positive as I've seen you because how proud you are of the guys, the effort they put in those two. The scores really didn't dictate how close those games, as undermanned as you were against what could be a number one seed in UAB.
Yeah, look, I'm hoping that, after this weekend, we're feeling a little bit better about results based on how we played last weekend. In other words, we didn't win the games, which is disappointing, but we hopefully have established some more depth. We got the two freshmen really playing a lot of minutes. The guys just really hung together and battled. And you're right, we were leading both games in the second half on the road against a very good team and gave ourselves a chance, and that's all you can ask.
Any updates on the status? As we talked post-game, you said you'd know more during the week with what Chris Mullins and Ege Hops are going through, and, of course, Travis Evie with his protocol.
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot of updates. I don't know if we'll have 1, 2, 3, or none for the game Thursday night. We'll just keep getting Chris and Ege treatment, see how they respond with their pain and their swelling. And then we just follow the protocols of the training staff with what they tell us on Travis, and we'll see where that's at come Thursday as well.
You mentioned a lot of those younger guys stepped up in both games. Was there a performance or two? And I know you look back to the first one into the wee hours of Saturday morning, but after kind of taking both games as a whole, the role guys that did step up, any performance or two that does stand out to you?
Well, I think there were a couple of things, especially, the Saturday game on that such a quick turnaround, less time than even normal, on under 24 hours to do that. And, I thought Cameron Sheffield, especially, he played 35 plus minutes in the game and gave us 8 points and 7 rebounds. He was the only player that played that didn't turn the ball over. So I thought his effort was tremendous. Max got us another double-double. I thought Quincy really, unfortunate for the foul trouble because, he really handled himself well, not only as, getting us buckets, but also then, facilitating and getting some guys some shots, when they were really focusing on him. So there was, like I said, a lot of pluses. We tried to conserve some minutes and energy by playing zone in the first half. And I think they did give us enough left in the second half to make that run, but we just, at the end of the day, just didn't have enough.
If somehow fans didn't see here or both, Elijah Poteet had, quote unquote, a coming out party. Tell us a little more about Elijah. I know I asked you quickly, and we didn't have as much time to expand upon it in our pregame show for the Saturday game, but He was great in high school, Reedsville, and all that good stuff, but he did it at the D1 level for the first of hopefully many times. What did y'all think about him?
Well, obviously excited to have him back. We saw it in the preseason. We knew, we were hoping for Elijah to really be a great complement and combination with Max all year long. And, fortunately for him, he gets the free year, right? Because he lost so much time that he's really trying to get himself back in physical shape and also just, playing basketball because he hasn't played, very much, sitting out. So, yeah, it's definitely a great shot in the arm for us down the stretch to have him these last, 10 games or so and more, I hope. And we expect, a lot more performances like you saw this weekend from him.
And your other big guy, the veteran of the two, between him and Max, his response after he had stretches where he wasn't forcing things, as you know, but I'd imagine stat-wise, Coach, you look at the height, he's facing the biggest guys that he'll face all year, but then he had a quick bounce back in that second game against UAB. So that was a huge game for Max, wasn't it, on Saturday?
Yeah, I thought he and Riley both Friday night did not play their best. And I thought they both bounced back very well. I mean, obviously Max with a double-double, and I think Riley hit 15. Hit some threes there for us, one to start the second half that we needed, to cut that thing under 10 right out of the gate. So proud of both of those guys as well and in their development, and hopefully that'll help them too the next time they face a little adversity. Yeah,
and not to sell Zachary Simmons short because he's coming up with North Texas, another good big guy, but just overall about Coach McCaslin's team, they've had 4 Conference USA games postponed, and knock on wood, you got the home and home coming up Thursday, Saturday. A little bit about Coach McCaslin. I mean, the reigning Conference USA regular season champs.
Yeah, no, they obviously have a very good team. They had an excellent team last year. They got the Conference Player of the Year back in Javion Hamlet. You already mentioned Simmons, how good he is down low. Good guys on the wings at Reese and Bell that are long and tough and can shoot. And they got some good freshmen coming off the bench. Just, another really solid group that he has there.
And finally, we've got Coach Glasser. Even with Coach Green, knowing them Van a little bit longer, I've gotten used to saying Coach Glasser now. It's such a unique scenario. I know it happens all across the coaching world in so many different sports, but talk about how proud you are of Coach Glasser into the new role he is, and just – you've known him forever and a day, Coach, so kind of give us a peek behind the Derek Glasser window.
Yeah, look, coaching him, he was a coach, he is that, cliche of coach on the floor, literally. He had such a high basketball IQ. And it's also what helped him become such a good player because he had to make up for that, some maybe the lack of athleticism or height and, in other ways. And he did it in toughness and skill and also IQ. And I knew, someday if he wanted to get into this racket, that he would be very good at it because he has a great mind for the game. He has a tremendous ability to connect and communicate with people of all ages. So I figured the recruiting part of it, he would do really well at, and also connecting with our players because that's really important to me. And I think that Greg, Van, and Derek and Ryan all do a tremendous job of that. And there's nothing more important to me than our guys having people they trust, and I believe they trust Derek.
What was a big bucket that he hit? You remember everything going back to Pennsylvania, California, Arizona State, obviously here, Penn and Rice. What was a big bucket or two? Because you had a halfway decent team there at Artesia, Coach.
Okay, well, high school, I can tell you, one of the great games he played was against Harvard Westlake in the state semifinals. To springboard us to go to the state finals. He had a tremendous game in that and carried us in the second half. And then a specific big bucket was one in college against UCLA. We ran a play where, you get James the ball and he drives it actually to his right on this play, and Derek drifted to the corner. And, of course, Derek's man helped in on James. James hit Derek, and Derek buried the corner three to beat a highly ranked UCLA team in front of 14,000 people. At ASU. So that was a fun one as well.
Amazing the detail you can remember all these years later. Hey, Coach, be talking to you here Thursday. So appreciate it. Have a great week, and we'll talk to you soon.
Look forward to seeing you Thursday, JP. Thanks for having me.
Head Coach Scott Pera of our Rice Owls, the aforementioned Coach Derek Glasser, coming up next here on Rice Owls Insider from Learfield IMG College.
The members of the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers Local 716 built the things that make Rice University and Houston great, and we want you to join us. Build a better career. To find out more, visit ibew716.net.
No one wants to fight the traffic to and from the stadium or arena. You don't have to when you go Win. Win Transportation. Enjoy the game, not fight the traffic. 5 people or 5,000. Win offers customizable group transportation with a wide range of motor coaches, minibuses, and vans, giving your trip an extra special touch. So when it's game time, remember, all you need is Win. Book at gowin.com, GOWYNNE.com.
You're listening to Rice Owls Insider. Let's rejoin JP Heath.
Welcome back on Rice Owls Insider. Owls Thursday and Saturday of this week. The split home and home with the travel partner North Texas. You can catch it on ESPN Plus, and I'll have the audio version on RiceOwls.com, the Game Day app, and TuneIn app as well. Head on over to Little Woodrow's in Rice Village. Little Woodrow's definitely the place to be. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram. Stay updated with their upcoming events. Little Woodrow's, your local Texas bar and grill. No stranger around Rice Owls basketball office, but in a new role this year, assistant coach Derek Glasser. Coach, how are you?
Doing well. Thanks for having me, JP. Excited to be on.
Yeah, it was natural when we get into the flow of things. We talk to different guys in new roles. So I guess the easiest question to start with is, I kind of prepped you with all those other scouting report. I know we talked about this in different settings, but just what has it been like here, getting used to relatively same staff, but a new role for you? I'm sure it's been challenging at the same time rewarding too.
Definitely both of those. It's been great to be on the floor with the guys. Just love being back in the grind, and the day-to-day of getting guys better on and off the floor is definitely something that inspires me, and I look forward to every day.
I don't know what your career ambitions were a couple years ago, but I'm sure this was a big step in it. So what's it mean now to not only be Division I assistant coach at still a relatively young age, but coaching with and learning from a guy that means so much to you, Coach Pera?
Yeah, I couldn't imagine starting my career off in any other capacity and with anyone else. Him and I have been through so much together on the floor and off the floor. Him being my high school coach and then an assistant coach at ASU for 4 years. Not many guys get to have the same coach for 8 years of, high school and college. So we've definitely been through a lot of battles. We know each other. We know what makes each other tick and, how to help each other. And, we really have a deep trust, which is hard to come by in this business.
You can answer this better than really anybody, I guess, outside of Coach's family. But how has Coach changed over the years from even respect to your role? Because I'm sure you got a gripe session or two way back then. Not many because you're such a great player, but I'm sure that's changed over the year with Coach. So how have you seen him adapt?
He has gotten a little calmer.
Okay.
As he's gotten older. But just his outlook and his ability to handle, different circumstances as they come and go on a daily basis. Being on the outside, even as a player, you don't understand what kind of goes into the day-to-day of being a college coach. I'd say probably 75 to 85% of our job is done not on the floor with the guys and behind the scenes, academics and housing and, just overall welfare of the players. And, you'll be hard pressed to find a guy who cares more about all of those things as much as Coach P. So it's, learning from someone who, is more of like a complete coach as opposed to just, an X's and O's guys or a recruiter, has definitely been a blessing to start off.
You're going to be modest, but you were one of the greats at Arizona State. So what did you learn as a high-level player that you've tried to take? And I know still that was a few years ago, but you tried to take from there and adapt to your role here.
Honestly, just like my college coach used to say, chopping wood. Every day you come and you handle your business. And if you're able to get consistent, production and activity and, show up every day and just get better, just a little bit better every day. By the end of the season, you're really going to be in a place where you're ready to compete for a championship. And that's something that, we've tried to instill in our guys this year. You can't go from A to Z without hitting every letter in between. So there's no point to rush it, especially this year with as crazy as it is. Just come show up every day, give us everything you got. And that's something that we do for them, and we expect them to do for us as well.
Yeah. Speaking of this year's team, you all did a great job with some of the transfers, still fitting in some parts in the development of young guys. Just kind of blanket question before maybe a couple follow-ups, just your thoughts right now on the growth of the guys. And one thing I keep talking about with Coach Pera and you on occasion, like on the bus or whatnot, but how they just like each other so much. So what have you thought about this version of the Owls?
It's definitely the most connected team since I've been here. They really do, which is weird because they've spent the least amount of time with each other. And, they're bringing in 8 new guys, freshmen and trainers, to go along with, 7 guys who have been here. It was something that I'm sure everyone was a little bit like hesitant about. Oh, so many new guys, they can't spend time with each other. They don't get any off the court time. How are they going to gel? I think we did a really good job of finding Rice guys, guys that fit who we want to be and where this program is headed. And, guys like Quincy, who, didn't have as big of a role as freshman year, has done a great job of stepping up in a leadership role. Chris Mullins, I know Coach P talks about him a lot. He's just been phenomenal. He's played his best basketball, and he's been as good of a leader, even better of a leader that we could have expected. And the guys, because he is that guy who shows up every day, he's not super loud, he's not outscoring 25 points, but he shows up every day and he gives a 100%. He doesn't miss practices. I know he just missed his first game of his career. And hopefully we'll have him back Thursday because we definitely need his presence out there. But, if we can continue to get guys like Quincy and Travis and, Chris and all these guys, the future is definitely going to continue to be brighter and brighter.
Yeah, you mentioned Quincy, his improvement from freshman to sophomore. Also think of Max, the improvement you've seen from last year to this year. Discuss those two guys as they've been 2 of the really key linchpins to the improved success this year, and how there's been a lot of other guys, but like playing at the elite level that you did and that you're coaching here now, you don't always see that jump from freshman to sophomore. So what have they done that's improved so much, Quincy and Max?
No, and you don't always see that jump with guys that don't play a lot. Normally it's the guys who play a lot of minutes as a freshman who maybe didn't produce as much, kind of how Drew was, where he started a lot and played a lot, but, his production wasn't where he wanted to be. And then boom, sophomore year. Same with Trey, they had similar jumps, but I mean, hard pressed to find 2 guys, that have grown as much as those 2 have on any team in any conference in the country. And Quincy, has always been a shooter, but his ability to, he had 4 assists last game, his ability to stay, somewhat unselfish and play a team game has really helped us grow because, all the other guys are so unselfish. Obviously we want Max to maybe be a little bit more selfish. But, as one of the knocks for me was, why don't you shoot more? Why don't you shoot more? And Max is similar. He doesn't care if he shoots 1 shot or 10 shots or has 1 assist or 15 assists. He just wants to win. And I think that, winning is a learned skill. And right now our guys are learning how to win. We dropped a tough one to ODU this weekend. We lost 2 to UAB, but our guys competed at a really high level with, shorthanded. I don't know if last year's team would have been able to keep those games as close as this year's team did, shorthanded. And, learning how to win will pay off, later this year, early next year, as we continue to try and fight for a championship. I really think guys like Max and Quincy, and, I think that speaks volumes to our coaching staff as well. Coach Green and Coach Pera, myself, just being on the floor with them and watching tape and workouts. Our guys love to be in the gym.
And I know they echo that from their assistant coach. Thanks, Coach Glasser. Appreciate it. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Derek Glasser, Rice assistant basketball coach. Stay tuned here. Rice Owls insider volleyball coach Genny Volpe will be with us coming up next year from Learfield IMG College.
Have no post-game plans? You do now. Head down the street to Little Woodrow's in Rice Village and relax over indoor and outdoor games, sports, and drink specials that a college student cannot refuse. All you have to do is bring your student ID to enjoy $2.50 domestic drafts. Also, don't miss out on our Monday college nights as we've got $2 domestic drafts and $3 shots. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram to stay updated on all our upcoming events and specials. Little Woodrow's, the official Rice Owls game day headquarters.
The Wyndham Houston Medical Center Hotel and Suites is the preferred hotel for anybody visiting the Medical Center, the Museum District, or Rice University. We offer the largest suites in the Medical Center, complete with full kitchens, and our full-service restaurant and outdoor pool will make your stay complete. We look forward to having you experience the Wyndham Houston Medical Center Hotel and Suites soon. And if you need a group rate or need 10 or more rooms, don't forget to call 713-528-7744. That's 713-528-7744.
Welcome back to Rice Owls Insider. Here again, the voice of the Owls, J.P. Heath.
Welcome back on Rice Owls Insider. Hope that you and yours are well. Now we get to talk some volleyball. Yes, volleyball in the spring with longtime Owls volleyball coach Genny Volpe. Coach, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I can't complain too much. Usually we do a lot of these each fall. I guess we did some pandemic catch-ups on the volleyball program. But, I mean, obviously the uniqueness of playing in the spring, to me, the volleyball layman, I don't mind admitting, once you start playing, it's all the same. It doesn't matter what's on the calendar, really, does it?
Not really. I mean, we're just excited to be competing again. You know, it was before we start season, you know, it's over a year since we competed. So it's really nice to be able to do that again.
Yeah, and even though it's still very early in the season, you split those matches with U of H. Anything that you've seen on the court that either benefited from that time off or, again, long season ago that you still obviously need to work on, like I'm sure most programs?
Yeah, I mean, it was great to see this unit play together. You know, we've got a mixture of, you know, a couple of strong returners and then some newcomers, fresh faces, and everybody went out on the court and got some time. So it was good to see a lot of different types of contributions. I think we looked good in terms of physical fitness. I didn't see any, any negative effects from that. I feel like we're in good shape. They've taken good care of their bodies. So yeah, I think playing the back-to-back matches will take some time to get used to, but everybody's pretty much doing that. So we got to get used to it pretty quick.
Yeah, you mentioned those two big returners. Obviously, most know if they don't somehow, Nicole Lennon and Anita Ndekanle named to the preseason All-Conference USA team. You're picked to win the Conference USA West Division. So you're no stranger to these high expectations. Do you manage them differently now that, I mean, I think you told me in the past, hey, that was the past. So how do you manage it going into this specific season?
Yeah, I think we don't really even talk about that kind of stuff in our gym. We really just focus on what we're doing to prepare to play the next game and what we can learn from the previous matches that we've played. Each practice, we're learning something new about ourselves. So we try to stay very process oriented, and we talk a lot about training with an underdog mindset, you know, just get after it. Whether we think the target's on our back or not, just being the best version of ourselves that we can be. And I feel like they stay true to that.
Traveled to SMU for a pair of matchups coming up this weekend, and then you dive right into conference play against La Tech. What do you hope to get out of SMU? Bam. I mean, no one's going to feel sorry for you, but then everybody's in the same boat, just getting right into conference play like this.
Yeah, so it'll be a road trip, and so that'll be our first one. And we got to get used to that. And SMU hasn't played yet, so they'll get to scout a little bit of what we did last weekend. We're going off of what we know from their returners from last year. So it's a very good team. SMU has a great program. They're usually in the top 3 in the American Athletic Conference. So we knew it would be a good matchup. And we're excited to play it. It's going to be a really competitive match, I have no doubt.
Coach Langley and Coach Pera dealing with this in basketball. Most of the conference weekends are playing back-to-back like you're going to be playing back-to-back. So how do you and the staff adjust, if you even have to, playing those back-to-back matches?
Well, I think it's really on the back end. After we come back from playing the 2 matches, then how are we managing reps for the week, potentially giving an extra off day to let their bodies heal. But in terms of preparation, we are playing the same opponent back to back. So we come in with a scout report that we know of, we play the match, then we analyze the match that we just played and try to make adjustments from that if we need to. And, that happened with Houston. We thought we had some information from last year. They had a different look. We played the match. We analyzed it as quickly as we could because we were playing the very next day. So a lot of it is really just getting out there and making match time adjustments. And both teams are doing the same thing. So it's a little simpler in terms of playing the same opponent back to back instead of 2 opponents in 3 days, which is what we usually do. It's just about managing our reps. If we can rest somebody in a match, we try to do that. It's new, but we're excited. We're excited to be playing.
And looking towards the end of the schedule, the most vital part of the season, you've got no stranger to fans, the familiar Baylor and Texas matches. So how great is that you get to play? I mean, people obviously know the history between both of those 2 programs and yours right before you get into the most important part of the season, a great tune-up, I'm sure.
Yeah, that worked out really well for us. Our bye week is at the end of conference play. So with the Big 12 playing the majority of their season in the fall, it worked out really well because they couldn't play until later in the spring for their calendar. So it worked out perfectly. We see Rice versus Texas, Rice versus Baylor, that being a tradition. We're going to be seeing each other probably every single year, and very strong programs. All 3 of us believe that we can help each other by playing each other, and it's coming at a really good time. I think that one thing I know about this team right now is that we will get better as we play and as we get more experience and get some more maturity throughout the season. We should be peaking at the right time. So I'm excited for playing those 2 tough teams right before heading into conference tournament.
Coach, you're the best. Thanks so much. Good luck this season. And I'm sure we'll be chatting again here on Rice House Insider before things wrap up. Happy spring volleyball season. That doesn't roll off the tongue, but I'm so happy that y'all did get to play. Thank you.
Thanks, JP. Go Owls.
Rice Fights. Stay tuned. Coming up here at Rice Owls Insider. Back right after this.
The members of the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers Local 716 built the things that make Rice University and Houston great, and we want you to join us. Build a better career. To find out more, visit IBEW716.net.
Big thank you, big gracias to all those involved here on this continuing edition of Rice Owls Insider. Really like doing these in this format. Get that same feel of getting some insight from across the athletic department. So thanks to the boss man head coach, Scott Pera. Thanks to Derek Glasser. I forgot to ask Coach Glasser the return question about that moment with the big shot against UCLA in the state semifinals. So shame on me, but I'm sure we'll have him on here again. But thanks to Genny Volpe, Rice Owls volleyball team getting into the swing of things. Conference USA play right around the corner. Have a great day or night. God bless. Go Owls. And punch us up for the broadcast Thursday against North Texas and Saturday up in Denton. We'll talk to you next time here, Rice Owls Insider from Learfield IMG College.
On the Rice Sports Network from Learfield IMG College, you've been listening to Rice Owls Insider, powered by IBEW Local 716, lighting up Rice University in Houston for over 100 years. The preceding has been a Learfield IMG College presentation on the Rice Sports Network.